Welcome to Our College, Your Voices. I'm your host, Kara Monroe. This year, Ivy Tech will host its fourth annual Student Success Summit. And for those of you that have been around for a long time, you know that this is the event that we've renamed from our previous Program Chair Summit. So this is the 8th year that we've been doing the Program Chair and Student Success Summits at French Lick, Indiana. I am excited to have with me two of our guests today who are with me, intricately involved in planning the Student Success Summit. And we're going to tell you a little bit about this exciting event. So let's get to meet our panel. First up, I have Russ Baker. Hi, Russ.
Good afternoon, Kara.
How are you today?
I'm doing very well. How about you?
I'm doing well. Can you tell us a little bit about your role at the college and what you do with the Student Success Summit?
I sure can. My role at the college is Vice President for Academic Affairs. I serve in that role primarily to work on programs that are designed for transfer, do a few other things as well. And for several years, one of those has been coordinating the Program Chair Summit, which 4 years ago, as you already said, became the Student Success Summit. So I've been involved in that. This will be the 9th year, and this will be our 8th year in French Lick.
Excellent. Thank you, Russ. And Corey Klossman-Ryan. Hi, Corey.
Hi, Kara.
How are you today?
I'm great.
Good. Can you tell us a little bit about your role at the college and your role with the summit?
Sure. Yeah, I am the Vice President for Student Success in Systems Office. And with Student Success Summit, I help Russ with some of the activities and the planning, as well as some of the back-end technical things. So when people go online to fill out forms or submit proposals, I'm the one that helps with that and gathering all the information as we work to decide which of the great panels that we're going to be seeing, as well as helping with soliciting some of the vendors that help support the cost so that we can have this event on.
Excellent. Very good. And I'll just note for those of you that might notice the audio quality is a little bit different today. Even though Corey, Russ, and I work probably less than 20 feet from each other on the same floor, we're rarely ever all there at the same time. So we're actually recording this by Zoom today. So you may hear a little bit of that Zoom audio quality difference. So we'll apologize for that in advance. So my first question for the two of you is, for folks who want to come to the summit, how do they get selected to attend the summit?
Well, I'll jump in and answer that one, Kara. The process is a little different than it used to be, because one of the huge advantages of switching from a Program Chair Summit to a Student Success Summit, and we've talked about this on the podcast before, but is that it's now open to a much wider group of participants. And that's really, in my view, and I think it's shared by others, really improved the event. Instead of pretty much only having folks from the academic side attend the summit, we now have people from student success, from advising, from enrollment, from various other support offices. And what happens is that each campus is allocated a certain number of, we call them seats on the bus. In a few cases, those are literal seats on a bus, because some of our campuses bring buses to the event. But each campus has a certain allocation of participants. Those numbers are loosely based on their campus size. So needless to say, Indianapolis has the largest number of seats, and some of our smaller campuses have quite a few less than that. But to get to your question, people who are interested in attending the summit, the best way to be included in as a participant is to reach out and let their campus leadership, their liaison, know that they're interested. They may not, each campus has a liaison for the summit who works directly with us in a lot of the technical aspects of registering and getting their numbers in. They may not know who that person is, but they could start by letting their supervisor know that they're really interested in going to the summit, and just making it known that they'd like to be part of it. Again, ultimately, the campus liaison is the one who submits the list of participants, but we encourage the campuses to get some new people every year and try to spread the opportunity around as much as they can.
And Russ, I just want to kind of reiterate one of your first points about it really not just being an academic experience anymore. Right before this, I was talking to somebody from the enrollment side who said, I know we're invited, but I kind of feel like I'm crashing the party. And so for all the listeners out there, really reinforce everybody on your campus that it really is meant to be all-encompassing student success from all sides of the house, that we want people from all parts of the campuses there that you're not crashing. We really mean this in the most broadest sense possible, that there's something for everybody, and we want those broad perspectives in the different sessions as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And Corey, that's a great segue to the question I wanted to ask you, which is a little bit about the proposals. And we'll talk about the keynotes after this, but you head up the proposal process. And I will just say, because I get the pleasure of reading all the proposals, it's one of the best groups of proposals I've ever seen this year. But can you talk a little bit more about what the proposal distribution sort of looks like this year?
Sure, yeah. And I think one of the great things that Russ talked about with the way we've kind of switched things and had the proposals come in first is, I would agree with you, we have really seen an increase in the strength of the proposals, but still having a broad number. So we had 83 or 84 proposals
Sounds
come in
right,
this
yeah.
year. And they're from a broad area. So we have some from advising, we have some from the enrollment side, we have some on diversity, as well as just kind of broad student success initiatives as well. So really trying to touch on the different parts of the institution. We have some focused on inside the classroom, so more faculty focused as well. So there really is something for everybody, and very strong proposals that I think, regardless of what sessions you are to go to, you'll be able to look at what you hear and listen to what you hear and think, I can take this back to my campus and really kind of put it to use in either the classroom setting or in different meetings or different interactions with students that I'm in.
And we'll spend the concurrent sessions, those sessions are on Friday morning for 4 hours. But Russ, we also have 2 big keynotes this year. Can you tell us a little bit about those keynotes?
One of the speakers last year who got some really positive evaluations and folks seemed to really like her was Dr. Tamara Clunas, and she was on our afternoon panel last year at the summit. So she didn't get an opportunity to really have a full presentation by herself. And a lot of people who were there said, we'd love to see her be the keynote speaker. So that's what we did this year. And she is from Amarillo College in Texas, and she will be the keynote speaker on Thursday afternoon. And then on Friday morning, our speaker will be, for day 2, Dr. Telly Sellers from the Kentucky Community and Technical College System, KCTC. He's from Louisville. The thing that I really like about Dr. Sellers is, first of all, he was recommended by one of our planning committee members who had heard him recently and said, this is really a good speaker. We ought to think about him. So I always like it when we get recommendations from our planning committee. And another thing that's somewhat unique about Dr. Sellers from a lot of our previous summit speakers is that he comes from a technical college background and is going to really be speaking from that perspective. So some of the people in the past from more of our technical program areas, some of our workforce-oriented programs, I think have felt like, with some justification, that the majority of the summit might be tailored a little bit more towards our transfer-oriented programs and not so much for them. I think Dr. Sellers is going to speak directly to them, and he's also going to provide a concurrent presentation along with his keynote on Friday. So I've spoken with him. He's very enthusiastic, real excited about being part of it. So those are our 2 keynoters for this year, Dr. Clunas and Dr. Sellers.
Excellent. And Corey, we have a big part of the summit is also some awards presentations, and we have some new awards this year. Could you talk a little bit about the Student Success Awards?
Yeah, so this year, and this was an initiative that came up through the people on our student affairs side, so our enrollment services and our student success side, saying we have awards for our full-time faculty and our adjunct faculty, as well as we've done some advising awards for the last couple of years. It'd be really great if we had a way to recognize our frontline staff who really are working hard and doing some great work to ensure that our students are successful. So this year, we're instituting 7 student affairs awards. 6 of them are going to be chosen by a committee of people from the campuses. And then the 7th one is actually going to be chosen by the Student Government Association President's Council. So they chose the parameters they wanted to use in the process, and then they'll select one winner statewide as well. For the other 6, each campus can choose one representative or one nominee in each category, and then we'll have a statewide committee that will choose one winner in each of those 6 categories. So it's everything from kind of a newcomer to Student Affairs Awards, as well as veteran but also kind of a Friend of Student Affairs Award. So those who work outside of the area, but who are real supporters and have worked to bridge the gap and support the work that we do over in enrollment and in student success. So I'm really excited about that. And I think there's a lot of energy behind that. And I think it'll be a great way as we look to find additional ways that we're recognizing the good work of our team across the state to further recognize what they're doing.
And Russ, I know you pour over every single comment and evaluation we get every year for the Student Success Summit. And we've made a lot of changes actually to the structure of particularly the first day of the summit this year. Do you want to highlight some of that difference for this year?
Yes. And I do look at the evaluations closely. I think people probably sometimes think, well, I had a suggestion and it didn't get implemented, so maybe no one's looking at those. But I think, first of all, as you and I have commented, when you're looking at the evaluations, this isn't probably a big surprise, but sometimes people's evaluations and thoughts are diametrically opposite each other. Yes. And so it's pretty difficult to respond exactly to everyone's preferences, because our preferences as individuals are not always uniform. But with that being said, we look for trends and we look for, I think, frequently heard comments. And one of the things that we decided to do this year was to change up the dinner. We've been doing a kind of fancy awards dinner for as many years as we've been having the Program Chair Summit just about. And while I think that's been a nice event and we've generally gotten positive comments regarding it, we decided this year, especially since we are adding more awards to the event, as Corey already talked about, those are really important awards and we're glad to include them, but we were concerned about adding even more length to that dinner. And so what we've decided to do this year is we are going to give the awards out as the first event of the summit. So at 2:00 on Thursday afternoon, we will have the awards event. We will be recognizing all the people that get an award, the Lampkin Awards, the Student Advising Awards that we've done before, and then the Student Success Awards that Corey just talked about. But we will be doing them in a fairly rapid-paced manner, and we won't be pausing to eat dinner partway through. So what that will mean is that our dinner can now become more of just a dinner. It won't be quite as formal. It will still be a sit-down served meal, but we aren't going to have much of a program with it. Probably just some remarks from Dr. Elsperman and a few comments like that, and then we'll let people go sooner. So we think that will allow people to have a little more free time on Thursday evening. That's another thing that people ask for. We know that a lot of our folks have had a long day. They've driven a long ways to get there. So we think that's going to make the Thursday schedule
hey, Russ,
a little bit more enjoyable.
Still there. So we have a couple of other new changes this year and some expansions. One of them is a mobile app that I know we're all very excited to try out, and we'll get information out about that. And then the revitalization station is back this year, a little bigger and a little better than last year. We might have massages. That was a request last year. We're trying to see if we can get some chair massages done during that. So we're excited to see that coming. Corey, I know one of the things that helps us offset the cost, part of these changes actually do save some money, which is always important for us. But Corey, I know one of the other things we do to offset the cost is work with sponsors. And you head up the sponsor process. Can you talk any more about, if folks know of companies that might be interested in sponsoring, how they could get involved with that process?
Yeah, if you know of people that we should be contacting, please just let me know. If you want to send me an email at cclassman@ivytech.edu, that would be great. We'll be sending those out to potential sponsors in December. So the sooner the better. Don't assume that we have them on our list. We would rather have duplication than not enough. The other piece is too, then when you're at the summit, please be sure to stop by their tables. They really do offset a huge portion of the cost. And so we want to make sure that we're showing them the respect that they deserve. And so please be sure to stop by their table, say hello, inquire about their product, and just learn more about them, because they really are vital to the success of the summit.
Yes, they are.
And
Absolutely.
I might just jump in. This is your area, Corey, but those who are platinum sponsors will actually be presenting a concurrent session as well. So we love the fact that we have most of our concurrent presentations being offered by our own staff and faculty, but we do encourage people, if one of our concurrent presentations by a platinum sponsor sounds like it would be of interest, we hope people will think about going to maybe one of those during the 4 sessions that we have.
So we want to wrap up today with just encouraging you on your campus to reach out to the liaison for the summit to make sure that you have an opportunity to be considered to attend the summit. Russ or Corey, anything you want to add to that as we finish up today?
I'll just add that if there are people listening to this who have never been to a summit, I would really encourage you to reach out if you're interested in going. We are encouraging our campuses specifically to, again, I said this before, but to bring some new people who haven't been there before. We don't want this to be an event where we have the same crowd every year. And if you've not been to one of these, it is by far the biggest professional development event of the year at Ivy Tech. There'll be 600 of your colleagues there. It's just a lot of fun. We try to leave some time for people to interact and enjoy themselves. It's in a great location, and I think there's some really good content. So I encourage people that are hearing this that say, I've never been part of that. I think it sounds like something I'd like to do, to not be silent, but let your interests be known.
I agree, and we're looking forward to seeing everybody in French Lick in a few months.
Excellent. Very good. So we end every episode with a call to action. Russ and Corey just gave it to you. Make sure that you do reach out on your campuses if you're interested in attending. And don't forget, if you have a company that you work with or an organization that we should contact as a sponsor, please reach out to Corey C. Klossman at ivytech.edu. Thanks for joining this episode of Our College, Your Voices. I want to thank our panel today, 2 of my closest colleagues, Dr. Russ Baker and Dr. Corey Klossman-Ryan. I love working with both of you all the time, and particularly when we're working on summit stuff. It's one of my favorite. After graduation, these are probably my 2 favorite days of the year. So I'm your host, Kara Monroe. You can connect with me on Twitter at KNMTweets. Russ was our producer for this episode. So Russ, thanks for getting us together for this experience. You can reach the podcast by email at ourcollegeyourvoices at ivytech.edu. Don't forget, you can leave us a voicemail at 317-572-5049. Again, 317-572-5049. Don't forget, if you're inside of the Ivy Tech community, you can join our Microsoft Teams listener community. Go into Microsoft Teams, click on the Teams button on the left, go out to join a team or group, and you'll see the listener community out there. Our website is ivytech.edu/podcast. Production assistance for this and every episode provided by Becky Campbell, Sarah Ferguson, and the Ivy Tech Community College Marketing Team. Podcast concept is by Matthew Pittman. Theme music and post-production services for this and every episode provided by Jen Ease at the Brossie Broadcasting Company, and we will talk to you next time on Our College, Your Voices.